The PTE Core reading section is a little confusing because you don't get a timer for each section. So you have the fill in the gaps question, and then you have later the multiple choice question, and it's not mentioned if you should spend 5 minutes here or you should spend 2 minutes here and so on. So the entire time that is given for the entire reading test is 27 to 38 minutes, and you decide how much time you have to give to each section. That's where you just have to do everything a little bit faster because you want to keep some time reserved for the later sections, because as you go down in the test, things become difficult. It's also important to note, if you are not able to get answers to some things, you can always leave them, do the things you know, and then if you have extra time, come back and answer those questions. Please don't leave anything blank. There is no negative marking, so you should not leave anything blank. At the end, if you don't have enough time, the answers that you were not able to do, just go up and make educated guesses with them. Okay, for now we're going to discuss the format of the reading test and some quick strategies that will get you up to speed and ready for this test. Now, for the reading fill in the blanks question, you get question 1, which is comprising of 4 to 6 questions in total. You can also get question 2, and I mean you can because it's not confirmed if you're going to get more on this section, which is the fill in the gaps, or you might get more of the multiple choice questions. You can get more of the pick the words from the box to fill in the gaps, which we'll look at later. So the exact number of questions can change from test to test. However, this gives us a general idea. This would be something around 30 minutes. In this case, the first reading section, you will get a letter, a passage, a paragraph, and in this case, it's a letter or an email. So it says, "Hi Susan, how's your search for the student accommodation going? I've started looking, but I haven't found anything, and this is the gap." So I still haven't found anything, and then you have some options here. 2 strategies you want to use. One is prediction, and one is looking around the blank. So if I'm predicting, okay, so I'm going to say I've started looking, but I haven't found anything good. I haven't found anything useful. I haven't found anything yet. I haven't found anything up to now, okay? And if I look at the options, one of the options is yet. This is something I predicted. And if I didn't have this option, I would have something similar. For example, I haven't found anything good or I haven't found anything cheap. I was thinking about adjectives too. But with the power of prediction, I'm able to get an idea, and then when the options come, I'm not that confused. I'm able to get that quick. The second strategy is, for example, with this one, we've always got on well with each other and we spend. So I'm just thinking with each other because that's just generally what you would say in this sentence. You have gone on well with each other. That is my prediction, but it also blends in with what is said after the blank. So before and after the blank, if I read the sentence, I'm able to get the flow and get the tone. Let's look at gap number 4. There's an option with. So of course I'm going to look at others and eliminate them too, but by doing predictions and looking at what's around the blank, you can get the answers faster. Okay, so you might or might not have another section of a similar type. If not, you will be moved to this one. This is the multiple choice answers, and here you have to select more than one response. Later on, you're going to get another multiple choice at the end where you have to select only one response. So that's the difference. Here you can select more than one. You should select more than one. And later on, you will select only one in the other section. So in this one, there's a big article, and then you just have a few options. So what you want to do is read the options first. When you read them, you will look at the keywords, and you also have to think about paraphrasing of them. For example, it wants to cut its costs. You can think maybe they're going to say they want to save money. It's growing. You can say it's expanding. It's getting bigger, and so on. So you want to paraphrase the words because they might not use the same words. And you also want to look at key phrases in case they use the same key phrases. Remember, a lot of the words that are going to be used here are going to be close to these answers, but will not be the exact matches. So if we start reading, customer feedback has been positive. We will go to the Asian market for the first time, and our products are excellent. Service will be just as popular. If I just try to have a quick glance after this paragraph, I don't see anything matching. And then it says we need to adapt as we're getting bigger. So bigger is synonymous to growing. And let's continue reading. One way we can do this is by moving our head office to the central location. So it also mentioned moving its main factory, but that's the trick. It's not the main factory, it's the head office. So this one is just a tricky one. It is going to be wrong. However, and it actually mentions our head office has been in this Oak Hedge place because it's cheaper to do business. So we're not moving our head office. We're not moving our main factory. And the first part where it says we need to adapt as we get bigger, it means it is growing. That is going to be the correct answer. Later on, since I have read this, they mentioned something here about an exciting benefit of moving is that the new building is much more eco-friendly than the current one. It'll help us cut waste and achieve our target. So cut waste is very similar to cut costs, but you're not cutting costs necessarily if you cut waste. It's more of an environmental thing. And if we look at this one, the last one, it wants to cause less pollution. That is correct because it's cutting waste and it's eco-friendly. And it's not using the word pollution, which is fine because you need to look out for paraphrased words for that. However, by the power of looking at the questions first, you're able to know the keywords, and when you read the passage, you're going to be able to get those cues quicker than if you read the passage first and then the options. Okay, you might have another passage like this, might not. And later on, you will have rearranging the sentences. And this one needs you to look at every sentence and put them in the right order. Which sentence comes first? You have to put that first, and then the next one, then the next one. The strategy here is to look at the first word or first phrase of each sentence so it gives you the idea quicker. Now, if I look at however at the same time, for instance, these ones will not start the conversation. When can start the conversation? Perhaps can start the conversation. Now, let's look at perhaps a little bit more. It says perhaps the main one was. So it's continuing from something previous, which means it's not going to be the first sentence. But this one, when I decided to take on a family holiday, that can definitely go as the first sentence because it is starting a new topic. So we're going to put that at the top. Now, the second part is going to be confusing because now you have all the options. So now you have to read what is appropriate. Look at the tone. It's also important to put yourself in the situation so you would see how you would answer the same question. So if I say, when I decided to take a holiday without my friends or family, I felt a bit nervous. Right after this, I wouldn't say, for instance, it was lovely. Of course, I was nervous. It was not lovely. I could say at the same time, it also encouraged me to make the effort to talk to new people. This works. This could also be true. However, I soon realized that there were some great advantages. So I'm looking at both of these. Okay. And the last one is this one. Perhaps the main one was. This doesn't work because I said I felt nervous. So the main one was after nervous. It's not the right tone. Now, if I have to look at however and at the same time, both would be great fits. I would go with however I soon realized, because when I'm nervous, after that, this is the positive sentence that, okay, but I realized there were some great advantages, and so on and so on. So you would have to look at the tone and see how you yourself would have answered this if you were put in the situation. Okay, so once you're done rearranging, you might have another task of that, or maybe a third one too. Finally, you will have, this is the second last task, you would have the same thing where you have to fill in the gaps, but this time you're given just one worded options instead of the multiple choice questions. You also don't know which option is going to go where. So what you want to do is, before you answer this one, before you look at the passage, look at the options quickly. So I'm going to look at, okay, manager, service, unusual, traditional, noise, waiter, dishes. Okay, so this is the general idea I need to have. I want to kind of memorize them in my head. So if I'm reading, I can quickly put something in here. with my memory. Okay, now I'm going to start reading and I'm going to look at the context of how this conversation is going. Many things can make a restaurant popular with customers. For some, let's predict, getting great food, getting great service, getting great prices is important because they like feeling welcome and relaxed. Okay, now I have predicted. I'm also looking at the words around my blank, which says welcome and relaxed. So food is not going to make me welcome and relaxed. Prices are not going to make me welcome and relaxed. Service is, and I have gotten this answer without even looking. Now when I look, it's much easier. Service is the first one. I'm going to put that right away. Okay, so it's the same strategy. You predict and you look around the blank to see the context. Get an answer yourself because your understanding will be so much better if you do that. And once you go to the options, you will spot the option quickly. Remember, this test is easier than what is going to be in the real exam. So you want to make sure you do this perfectly because the options are going to be much closer in the real exam. Okay. Next one is the same thing. And then finally, you have the multiple choice question here. The only difference is, as I mentioned before, you have to pick just one, not two or three or more. So again, you would do the same strategy. Look at the keywords here. Look at also how you could paraphrase them. And then look at the paragraph. Try to see what matches by reading the keywords and paraphrasing the question. Before reading the passage, you'll be in a much better position to answer and spot your correct answers. So guys, that's it. I hope this helps. And for more PTE Core tips and tricks, please subscribe. The next video is going to be on speaking, which has a lot of details and templates. So do subscribe and we'll talk very soon. Take care.